Welcome to today's video, guys, and today is the infamous leg day. Let's get the ditch. Thank you guys for all your support already. And as you saw by the title of the video, we hit legs today, so let's get right into it. The first exercise we did was squats on this Smith machine, and the reason why we did it on this and not a squat rack was because there wasn't any available. If your gym is small, or if the particular machines are taken, especially the ones that you like to work on, move on to another exercise, or see if you can do the same exercise on a different machine. We warmed up with a plate, then went to a plate and 225s. Well, a 25 on each side. Also then went with 2 plates, and then finished off with 2 plates and a quarter. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Also, I didn't use knee sleeves or a belt. With this machine, I feel it's pretty safe, instead of being on a rack where the load is completely on you. If this tends to slip on you, you can rotate it forward, and it has hooks on each side, so it'll catch on to the little bars it has on each side. Also, another tip when squatting, you want to make sure the bar itself is right. So if you were to take a pole and align it with the bar, it should hit the mid of your foot. Okay, so when you're at the low end, it should hit the mid part of your foot. So it shouldn't be forward, shouldn't be behind, simply because that's your center of gravity. After that, we moved on over to the leg press machine. We warmed up with 4 plates, went up to 5 plates, 6 plates, and then finished off with 7 plates. We did 10 reps of each, except on the last one. With the one with 7 plates, I only did 5 reps, due to the fact that I was pretty exhausted at this point. I did just start cutting about, almost a month ago. So just trying to keep as much strength as possible. Obviously, with cutting, you're going to lose, even a little bit of muscle. That's going to happen, but that comes with it. That comes with the trait, which I'll be doing a separate video on. I'll go over my exact numbers, such as weight, fat percentages, the peak of my bulk, and what I want to drop down to. I'm not competing this year, but I am shredding, so cutting, whatever you want to call it. So with this exercise, I went with a pretty neutral stance, not a very wide stance, nor a narrow stance. I was just going with a neutral stance. After this, we went over to the lying hamstring curls, or lying leg curls, whatever you decide to call it. It's the same thing. I think we started with 110 pounds. Yeah, 110 pounds. This machine doesn't go. The max on this machine is 160, I believe, and we did get to 160, but started off with 110. Then it goes up to, I believe, 130, 145, and then 160, I believe. But don't quote me on that. I don't necessarily remember, but I think it's something along those lines. Now this gym is pretty big, and it has this lying hamstring curl machine, and it also has the seated hamstring curl machine. And I prefer this one due to the fact that it doesn't put as much pressure on my knees. Obviously, how you set it up depends on that, because if you were to set it up, if you were to drop all the weight and where you lift it from is way too low, it's past your knees, and obviously you'll feel pressure against the pad. But if you set it up right, you shouldn't feel as much, or should feel less pressure. I've tried doing that and setting up the seated one differently, but I still feel pressure in my knees, which I don't like. But I don't. That's just me. Tell me what you guys think. If you guys prefer this machine over the seated one, comment down below. After the lying hamstring curls, we moved over to seated leg extensions, which are going to focus on your quads. I think we went with 100 pounds, then moved up to 120. I think this machine goes in increments of 10 pounds. Then we went over to 140, and then went up all the way to 160. We did five sets, 10 reps every time. We're doing, like I said, high volume due to the fact that I'm cutting, and you want to keep as much muscle retention as possible. Also on this machine, I don't feel it's beneficial to put a lot of weight, due to the fact that it can be hard on your knees, especially if you put a ton of weight on there. I'm not saying not to do this exercise, because I like it personally, but I don't feel it's necessary to go super heavy. You want to work on more compound movements such as squats, stiff like deadlifts themselves, things like that. Then we went over to the seated calf raises. We did 5 sets. 2 sets were with 1 plate. This machine has two sides to it, so you can put a plate on the right side and the left side. So we did 2 sets with 1 plate, 45, and then we put on another 45 plate on the other side and did the other 3 sets of 10 to finish off this workout. One thing I've noticed is in every gym it's different in regards to a machine like this. I'm not sure exactly why. I'll put a 45 plate on this machine, and I'll go to a different gym and put the same weight, and it'll be really heavy or really light. So therefore I would use 3 to 4 plates, or a plate and a half, due to the machine, just because it's heavier, feels heavier anyways, even though it's the same weight. So that concludes this video, guys. If you want to see anything in particular, like I said, or something broken down into more detail, explained how something works, or a certain exercise, please leave a comment down below or send me a message. Once again, I thank you all, and I will catch you in the next video.